Local sports from KYMA News 11.
The kids are really upset just because we're going to have to drop games, obviously. Hopefully those numbers go down, and while we're being cautious and we're being as safe as possible with these kids, these are just life experiences that we want these kids to enjoy, and it's kind of sad that they're not getting to.
Antelope Athletics weighs in on the potential start of prep sports. Welcome back, everyone. The Arizona Interscholastic Association released a tentative plan to start up prep sports for the fall late last week, which would allow the practices to start up on August the 17th, and for fall sports competitions to begin on the week of September the 7th. But all that hinges on prep schools opening up their campus to students by the mid-August date. News 11 Sports reached out to Antelope Union High School Athletic Director JAIME earlier this week, who plans on releasing a list of safety protocols for his student athletes if and when that time comes this fall. Even with the current high numbers of COVID cases still being reported in Yuma County alone, JAIME does believe that there will be a condensed fall season, but with a few criteria in mind for that to happen.
I just think that they're going to do some kind of a season. I do. If they start school, they're trying to, figure out how they're going to run a season and what kind of, like I said, I think it's going to be just a regional season with maybe one freedom game for each school. That's kind of what I see happening right now. Yeah, I think if they push it back beyond the 17th, I think they're just going to cancel it. I think someone will have to make the decision and say it's not going to happen.
JAIME and the rest of the Antelope Union High School athletic staff continue to await a clear decision from the AIA about the state of fall sports. Meanwhile, the NCAA announces today the comprehensive COVID-19 testing guidelines that will be used throughout the upcoming 2020 college football season. The guidelines include testing requirements, response strategies, contact tracing methods, and specific protocols for games to be canceled due to numerous positive tests for the coronavirus. The recommendations from the NCAA include daily self-health checks, including the following: the use of face coverings and the adherence to social distancing guidelines during training, testing strategies before the season, during the regular season, and during the postseason, testing and results within 72 hours of high-risk sports, including football, and adherence to local health standards. Football players will be subject to a PCR test, the most common type of test for COVID-19, within 72 hours of competition. Any player who tests positive for the coronavirus will be forced to isolate for 10 days and only be allowed to return to action after at least 3 days without symptoms. And finally, the Dallas Cowboys and quarterback Dak Prescott failed to reach an agreement on a long-term deal by Wednesday's deadline. That means that Prescott will play the upcoming season on the franchise tag, earning a cool $31.4 million. Reports indicate the two sides did not have any substantive negotiations since March, when sources said the Cowboys put out an offer worth $34.5 million a year, which would have been the second highest average for a quarterback behind Seattle's Russell Wilson. Prescott joins 11 other NFL players who will play on the franchise tag in 2020. With that being said, that's going to do it for this round of sport.